Oh, I just got back from my second viewing of Rogue One, a Star Wars story. As you know, as many people are, especially nowadays, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I love Star Wars, I breathe Star Wars. I am Star Wars. Look at me. I'm as big as space. But I am so excited to talk to you about this. Even though I kind of already did with my boy Adrian, watch my spoiler discussion. I go in depth with him on what I really loved and what I didn't like, and of course, some of the stuff that happens in the movie. This is, of course, a movie that is set before A New Hope, which is the first Star Wars movie, in my opinion. There is no other one that's Episode 1. This is A New Hope is Episode 1 in my book, but technically it's Episode 4. But when it first came out, it was just called Star Wars, so whatever. Anyway, I was very, very excited for this because A New Hope might actually be my favorite Star Wars movie. I always go back between Empire and A New Hope, but A New Hope really did, it introduced us so well, and there's some of the most memorable moments are from A New Hope, and I love that movie. I really do. It has so many quotes. Great shot, kid. That was one in a million. That's one of my favorite quotes ever. I quote that all the time. By myself, with nobody near me, because it's embarrassing if I yell that out myself, because I don't do it as good as Harrison Ford. But I love that movie. So when I heard there's going to be a prequel to that specifically, not Episode 3, where it leads up to that kind of, well, it led up decently, even though the movie itself isn't great. But my point is that I was so excited to see one that led up to the beginning, literally the beginning of A New Hope. And I was so excited, especially since I love The Force Awakens so much, and I still do. I love that movie. I've seen it like 6 or 7 times, which I know some people have seen it more and more than that. But really, I've been actually trying to hold off on watching that again. I haven't watched it since it was in theaters. And I've been holding off watching it just because I want to kind of watch it right before Episode 8 comes out. But I'm going to watch it again soon. I was going to watch it the other day, but I never got a chance to do that. But I really want to watch it again. But anyway, Rogue One is something I really wanted, because I really want to see the events before Star Wars, the original. Like, I want to know who got the plans for the Death Star, and why was there a weakness in the Death Star? Something so giant, so massive, something like that could destroy an entire planet. I mean, a little flaw like that, really? And they explain all that stuff in Rogue One, and I was so happy to see that. And I was also really happy to see that Gareth Edwards, the director of this, also directed Godzilla, took a lot of his stuff that he did in Godzilla, which I know a lot of people hate that movie, but I don't. I love it. Sorry. Everything he did that was so well in Godzilla, which if you are a hater of that movie, you can't say there isn't some good stuff in that, because there's some great stuff in that, especially when it comes to being on the ground floor while Godzilla is destroying stuff, while you're the camera's up, like right here, us below, just on the ground, watching Godzilla destroy stuff. He takes all that stuff that I loved in that Godzilla movie and brings it over here, and it works so well. But not only that, the characters are so likable in this movie, which Godzilla, of course, some people say the characters aren't likable. I would say the main character isn't relatable in the way where I can't really feel for him because he doesn't show much emotion. Here, that is completely gone. I care for Jyn Erso. I always screw up her first name, even though I just screwed up the last name. But Jyn Erso, it's Jyn. It sounds so weird saying that. But Jyn Erso, you know her, you care about her, you care about all these other characters. They all have character. The only thing I had a problem with maybe is that the relationships between them wasn't as strong as I would have liked. But to be fair, they were a team doing pretty much a suicide mission. And they just met up. So you didn't really get much of a reaction. A relationship between the characters. You only really got to see them as their character in situations, like what's his name, Boz, and I always screw up his name, Donnie Yen's character. They have a relationship. Cassian and Cassian and Jyn have a relationship. The only one that probably doesn't really have a place to fit when it comes to relationships is the pilot. What's his name? Bodhi, which keeps. Every time they said his name, I kept thinking of Point Break. But yeah, so you have all these characters, and for the most part, they're all likable. You really do relate to them. And the action itself is amazing. Visually, it is a gorgeous movie. It is probably the best looking Star Wars movie I've ever seen. And that includes The Force Awakens. And that includes watching the original Star Wars and even the prequels when they were new. Or, obviously not new. I wasn't alive when A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back or Jedi was out. But you know what I mean. When they were newer. When they were new in my conscious the first time I saw them. And when I was a kid and I didn't really give a shit about terrible special effects. Like, even in my memory of those, I still think Rogue One is probably the best looking movie of this year, except for Doctor Strange and The Jungle Book. It's a little hard to pick between these three, but some of the scenes are so breathtaking. All the vehicle designs, all of the explosions, all of the scenery shots, the space shots, the little planets that you get to visit for a little bit. It looks amazing. It really does. It is a beautiful looking movie, and even the costume design. You see a ton of practical looking aliens with, like, just a bunch of fur all over a dude, and that's supposed to be an alien creature, and one has like prosthetics over their face, and of course there are special effect aliens here and there. You see plenty of them, but for the most part a lot of it is practical, and they try to stay grounded as much as they can, even though there are tons of special effects, but they never distract you, except for maybe 2 special effects, which if you saw the movie you know exactly what I'm talking about. But I can't spoil it. Again, watch the spoiler discussion, you'll know what I'm talking about. Even though I will say that one special effect that I'm really talking about that I cannot spoil, which is a character, I'll say that. Pretty damn good. Probably the best special effect for a human I've seen in a very long time. Like that and the Arnold from Terminator Genesis. 2 of the best like human special effects I've seen. And that's the only time I'll praise Terminator Genesis. So excuse me. But still, this movie looks beautiful. It really does. You really do care for the characters. The last act, all 3 acts are great, I think. Even though in the second act it does start to slow down and there are some problems with pacing, I will say. I said that in the spoiler discussion. The last act is, oh my god. I saw this in IMAX the second time, and the first time I loved the third act. I thought it was great. It was extremely well paced. It was very fast paced and very, very tense. Third, I wish I saw it in IMAX the first time. I really did, because if I saw it in IMAX, I would have been literally on the edge of my seat, because it was just beautiful screen, beautiful picture, just a great sound system, explosions left or right. You heard things in the background that I didn't hear the first time I saw it, because of course IMAX. So I hear a little explosion, I'm like, what the fuck was that? And you hear people in the background, you're like, oh shit. Like, there's one time where someone yells in the movie, and it literally sounded like it was someone maybe 2 rows up. I really did. I looked back, I was like, oh shit. I forgot about that scene. Someone yells in the background. So yeah, seeing this in IMAX is necessary. It is very necessary. Shell out that money, because you are going to have a great time in this with the IMAX experience. I wish they had IMAX without the 3D. Even though the 3D was great in here, I'm just tired of wearing those freaking glasses. Especially if you're like off to the center. Like if you're off to the side, not the center. If you're not in the center, you're off to the side over here and you're like looking at the screen like sideways and stuff. It doesn't look great. It really doesn't. And it's kind of annoying having your head like this. Oh yeah, that's good. Like I just like center right here. I get relaxed. I'm like, Star Wars. Yeah, and without the 3D glasses, this would be a little bit more manageable. But sadly, every IMAX movie nowadays has to also be in 3D. You know, there's occasional times, like Christopher Nolan does IMAX without the 3D. I think Dunkirk will have IMAX without the 3D. I think the next Triple X will have IMAX without 3D. At least I assume that, because I looked at the poster at a theater. I should have took a picture of it, because it's the most brilliant, retarded thing I've ever seen. It says IMAX, and guess what? The X in IMAX is Triple X. There's 3 X's. Anyway, that rambling being over, let's go back to Rogue One, which I really, really did love, and I very, very, very much appreciate the attention to detail and just the attention to quality that Disney and the directors that are chosen for these movies are really putting into the world of, the galaxy of Star Wars. And yeah, I really love this movie. I really have no problem with it. The writing was great. The characters are really likable. Even if there's not too much camaraderie here, it really does really does work when it's just focusing on one character, when we're seeing the struggles of Bodhi's character, or even Boz and Donnie Yen's character, and all these other characters, and of course Cassian and Jin. Like, these are all really likable characters. Everybody does a great job. The acting is great all around. The special effects are great. Even some of the little voice acting that you hear in here, because there's a lot of special effects, those are great too. Especially that one special effect I'm talking about. That one special effect character that looks a little weird. You could tell it's a special effect, but still looks really good when it comes to the animations and stuff. Whoever voiced that character nailed that character. Let me just say that. And nailed that actor too. I'm really trying to not spoil it. But hey, if you don't know about it at this point, then going into it, you'll probably be more excited if I say it like I'm saying, like there's someone in it. Whoa. You'll be like, who is it? So hopefully I'm actually making you more interested to see it if you're not going to see it for some reason. It made $155 million this weekend, which is incredible considering it's not episode 8. It's just, it's the story before the Death Star. That's incredible, especially for December. Movies always hang on very well during December. So you're going to be seeing this movie for a little while in theaters, probably until the end of January. And I wouldn't be surprised if this makes like a good $500 to $600 million in America itself. And yeah, Star Wars is still going strong, my boy. And this is definitely one of the strongest ones. I love this movie. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Some of the best war sequences you'll see in a blockbuster like this. A Hollywood blockbuster, I'm saying. Don't expect to see like Hacksaw Ridge style violence or something, or even Saving Private Ryan. You're not going to see that. It's still PG-13. But they really do try their best to make this feel like a war movie. And there is some violence that happens where you don't see blood, but it's implied, and it's grim at times. It really is. This isn't the happiest Star Wars movie you'll ever see. Not that Star Wars is ever really happy. Star Wars always ends in a way where, like, yeah, we won, but we lost things, or oh shit, we just lost. Like, even the last Star Wars, The Force Awakens, like, yeah, we won. Oh, I won't spoil it, but you know what I'm talking about. Oh no. But yeah, there you go. That's my I guess review of Rogue One: A Star Wars Story. Again, if you want me to go way more in depth, then go check out the spoiler discussion. I'm pointing over here. That's my computer. That's why. I don't know why. It's not like you'll come over and watch it with me. Actually, you know what? If you're around, come over. We'll watch it together. It's just a picture with our voices talking about it. But yeah, whatever. Listen to it while you go to sleep. Let us lull you to sleep. Good night. Star Wars is back, baby. I'm so happy for it. Oh, also, I got these awesome, look at this. I got these awesome Star Wars Rogue One posters. Look at this. Isn't this cool? Look at that. Yeah. That's gonna be the thumbnail. There you go. Goodbye. 37 out of 40.